Apple's best new features aren't coming to their phone.
Welcome to the All Future podcast, where we talk all things Apple, AI, tech, humanoid robots, and CrowdStrike, actually, in one of our videos this week, which was...
synonymous with failure.
Yeah, which was new for me. But today we're talking all about a product I very much enjoy. And actually, usually it's myself, an Apple Vision Pro user, which we can put my little tag there, and Matt, who does not use the Apple Vision, but we actually have two Apple Vision users here.
Oh yeah,
today to talk about new features coming
Apple
to this
Vision
thing.
made this channel what it is.
Yeah,
I have to agree. And I love VR, and I love playing with VR stuff, and it is still the best VR experience out there, but obviously, understandably, the price tag leaves a lot of people out of that. So we're not here to argue that you should get one, but I am going to tell you about something that you're missing out on, which is Apple's finally making 3D immersive content for Apple Vision, which is the best stuff out there.
Yeah, it's very cool. They have they've already had a couple immersive experiences. They had like an Alicia Keys one. They had some other basic ones, but now they've been expanding the shows, and they're all kind of like wildlife or like planet related. And I've watched a couple of the episodes that are on there so far, and there's a bunch to come, which I'll detail. But have you watched some of this immersive content?
I watched one of the wildlife ones. It was a rhino documentary, and it was great quality. I will say that like it's one of the best. I've watched a ton of VR experiences on Quest and on Apple Vision Pro on YouTube. And recently you were able to watch it in 8K. It bumped up. These are shot in 8K. It's hard to tell what you're watching them in. I was trying to see, like, is there a dial on the side where I can, like, change the quality?
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know if you're watching it in full quality or not, which I think you need to change. So, Apple, if you're out there, let us know that we're watching in 4K. Let us know that we're watching in 8K.
Yeah, because, like, I'd sit there and there's certain things. I know we're at the point where we stream stuff to where we just click play and we don't want any buffering. But in this level of an experience, it's like I will let this buffer for a couple minutes on the side if that's what it takes for me to watch this in full quality.
Yeah, I don't care if it's 20 gigs. I don't care what it is. Like, this is the best screen in the world. We've talked about this before. I've gone to a theater in IMAX to watch Dune, and then I've watched it on the Apple Vision. The Apple Vision looks better. I'm sorry. It's just like the best screen in the world right now. So I'd like to watch the best screen in the world with full quality content, especially if you're pitching it like that. It's shot in 8K, and we're streaming it in 4K. Yeah. So I just want to know that it's getting full quality, and if it can't get full quality, I just want to download it so I can watch it in full quality in one sitting and get it off later.
Yeah, I mentioned that I would mention this in another podcast, but you recommended the show The Boys to me.
Yes.
And I said I had a ridiculous reason for why I have not decided to start that show this week.
Oh, the mystery revealed probably 4 days later.
Yeah. And so the reason is because I just watched Fallout while traveling using the Apple Vision.
Great show.
I watched every episode on the Apple Vision, like on the plane. It was a great experience, except the fact that the only Amazon Prime app that you can download offline to is the iPad version of the app on the Apple Vision, and it does not download great quality. So I was watching it in like kind of low quality. I have it on the highest setting that it'll do in the app, but you're talking about the best screen in the world, and then it's just this kind of lower quality version.
Too, right?
Yeah,
because it's like right next to your eye.
Yeah,
you can't like hide it, right?
So it's like this great show, but I'm like, the quality just isn't amazing. So I'm traveling to New York, I think in 2 days, and I'm prepping like what show am I going to dive into for this trip, and I'm like, I'm not going to do The Boys because it's on Amazon Prime, and I want to, when I'm going to watch it, I want to watch it in full quality, and it's a weird, ridiculous thing, but it's kind of the truth of this device that you want things in the best quality, like you're saying. So that is a thing that I'd love to see with these immersive experiences.
Have you committed to the Apple Vision on the plane again? Are you all Apple Vision on the plane?
Yeah, I've done a couple flights with it now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You were brave. I don't think I could do it yet. Yeah. I think I mentioned last time that I don't like traveling with it because my dates are a lot longer than Ryan's tour, so I may be gone for 3 weeks to 6 weeks or something.
You always
and I
keeping
really
track
don't
of it.
want, I'm just going to be thinking about it all day because it's so expensive. But to get back to this show, it was really good.
The wildlife
yeah.
thing.
I can see where it's going and where it's headed, And I cannot wait for like a horror director to get their hands on this. So here's the good things. It looks amazing. They know how to frame their shots. So like one of the first things I noticed with the dinosaurs experience is like the further out something is, the less the 3D effect is for the glasses. So, but the closer something is, and then the further, away the background is, the more depth of field you actually get, the more you can actually see these things in 3D.
Yeah.
So I watched a Rhino experience, and the whole essence is the camera placement, right? You want to be like right in the middle of the action with all these things. So it starts out kind of slow, and they do this like big reveal out of a window where you could like see these rhinos and they're feeding them, but it's still like at arm's length, it's maybe like 5 to 10 feet away. And you're like, that's a bad angle for this camera. Like I want to be right in it. And then the next shot they have is like, you're right there as they're getting fed and stuff like that. You could see them. You could see all the texture on their body. It's so amazing. Like those shots are great. And those shots make up about 10% of the entire documentary, to where other things are like, further away or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, here's are my predictions for the future, right? Someone's going to take this and make some kind of like super immersive POV kind of like movie experience. And that's what I can't wait for, is like, these are great, but what it's lacking is like the moving dynamic, and I'm sure they do that on purpose because people are going to feel sick or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that's probably the big thing that they're always juggling.
But it really feels boring because we're used to watching movies with moving images all the time, and these really feel like a camera on sticks, and here it is, and it's in the same position for about a minute, and that's like a long time, for your brain, who's so used to these moving pictures and so used to like how movies are, and that you can use these like lenses to get closer to the action. You can't do that with this. You need it to be, actually in the middle of whatever's going on, which is a huge challenge to filmmakers. You can't just have a camera like a normal wildlife photographer is shooting with like a 200 to 400 millimeter lens, which means you could be, super far away, the way they get those beautiful bird shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're like 100 yards away from whatever their subject is. But you can't do that with these 3D cameras yet. So really, you literally have to throw the camera in the middle of the action if you want to get something done. So in this rhino thing in particular, it was 10% of the shots were incredible, and then the rest was like, okay, it's just a camera on sticks.
Interesting.
But I cannot wait for them to start moving that camera around, get it on dolly tracks, figure out what the good pacing is for people not to like feel nauseous, and you're gonna get like such a good POV on a ride or something like that. It's going to feel more like a theme park ride than a movie.
Yeah. So there's one called Prehistoric Planet, and I watched that the other day. And the difference is this one's all animated because it's Prehistoric Planet. It's all dinosaurs and stuff. And there is movement, but it's all a certain amount of slow. Like it's a very slow pull out, or it's like flying over or drops down. And so you never feel bad about like motion sickness or anything. I assume it's kind of conservative in that way to make sure no one has any issues. It's the first episode of this thing. We want people to just love it and not have a problem. But it was actually really cool because that is an experience. At first I was like, okay, animated dinosaurs, and it was the same kind of thing, wide shot. And then it put me in there, and there's a dinosaur right here. And then it's not like a scary thing. Like it's not looking at you and reacting to you like the Encounter Dinosaurs experience. It's just like you happen to be there. And it's like I'm in the world, and this is what the world was. Like covered with dinosaurs, and it was really cool. And this one was like, I think just sound effects and stuff, so it's just these shots of what it is. And I've never quite experienced something like it, where it's really like I'm feeling the experience of this is what the world used to be like pre-humans, and that's really cool.
Yeah, your body really does have these like visceral reactions to like being in the thing versus like seeing it on a screen. Yeah, I can't stress enough how different it is. That's really like why I call this the best content on Apple right now. It's like that they're not gonna have a show. The show is gonna tell a better story, have better angles, be more familiar. There's nothing. Your body's not viscerally reacting to some of these things. Yeah. Whereas like when you're put in the middle of it and this thing is right next to you, you feel the danger that you'd feel if it was in the wild or something like that. And
Yeah.
it's just such a different, cool experience. I love that with VR.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of new ones coming. There's more episodes of Wildlife. There's Boundless, Elevated, and then Submerged is the first scripted one. And so this almost might go into that horror thing you're talking about. It's set in World War II, and you're a sailor that has been like torpedoed. Like your ship has been torpedoed. So, and it's dealing with all that. And the freeze frame, or the frame that they show, is like, the water coming in. And
I'm
they're
getting
fighting
oh my God. I'm getting excited just thinking about that.
And it's a short film. All these things are going to be short to start because I'm assuming this is a big undertaking to make anything in this format. But yeah, you're excited?
These are the things that are going to like be the killer, this is the reason to get this thing. Or like just go rent one for the weekend. Like it'll be Blockbuster Video or something like that, where you could just rent one of these things to have these experiences. If a short film is 30 minutes long, you can like go, or 15 minutes long, you can go to a place that has a bunch of Apple Visions, so you can like go experience this for like a ticket price, right? Like for $10 or something like that, There's a version where you don't have to buy this thing to experience the good parts of it. And we've done that a million times back in the day with internet cafes to arcades to all this stuff, And so
it's kind of cool.
If you really get to the point where these like short films, because they're going to be more immersive and better than movies, they're going to be worth checking out. If you make it an experience with multiple people, right? Like you bring your group of 4 friends, and now you're 4 are part of the movie, and you like experience different experiences within it, and like meet up in different places. Like these are like incredible things we're going to have access to. More like a POV version in a video game or something like that.
Yeah.
And so when we get to like this point of entertainment, it's going to be a better form of entertainment than movies is. Like you're going to be the star or whatever. Like it's going to be focused on you. It's not going to be focused on them and you going through all those experiences or whatever, which will be horrifying to some people and really exciting to me. So,
I love seeing new technology enable art. And you can look back and see this for so many things. You can see this just for music, like the fact that recording became a thing enabled this whole art form of actually recording music, to where it's at first it's just documenting it, and then it becomes this whole thing where you're actually making its own piece. And so then you have film and cinema, and you originally had silent film, then you have TV shows. Then you have all of this technology enabling something. So there's going to be people who figure out how to make an incredible moving story on the Apple Vision immersive experiences. And it'll make you probably feel something that you haven't felt with any other experience. And yeah, I'm really excited for that.
This is the future. I hate to break it to you. Like VR is the future. It's just going to take a really long time to adopt it as an entertainment platform. But it is like better than watching a movie. It's not the same thing. It's like your body really going through experience. I know we spent a lot of time on this.
Well, here I'll finish out. There's a 2024 NBA All-Star Weekend short that's going to come out, an immersive experience from the weekend, and then Red Bull Big Wave Surfing. I'm assuming that might be one of the most motion involving things. I'm curious. I'm sure it'll be like some sort of 3D camera on the surfboard and stuff in the waves, which probably will be awesome. And a lot of this is going to be enabled further because Apple partnered with Blackmagic to make a specific 8K 3D camera with them that is made for these experiences.
We should go rent one of those things and just take it around and see.
We could do an episode of the podcast in 8K 3D.
Oh yeah,
that seems worthwhile
for our 7 Apple Vision owners in the audience. Apple Vision owners, comment so we know how many of there are. All the new UK and Australia and Japan people, comment, and we'll make some content for you. It'll get like 8 views, but that's okay because it'll be fun.
But you talking about this being the future, I think other companies are kind of recognizing it as well, because we're seeing Meta this week patent new things.
Yeah, I gotta say that we said the first thing that can go, because they're creating an Apple Vision Air, right? Like they're trying to get a lower price point for this. Apple realized that $3,500 price point is too much for most people. It is, especially right now. And so we said, what's the first thing that can go? We said the eyesight and the whole front-facing thing, except Meta's trying to patent the exact same experience.
Yeah. This was really interesting to see. I read the patent, and it's called Embedded Sensors in Immersive Reality Headset to Enable Social Presence. And apparently there's also going to be some like health sensors embedded in with this, but essentially it's somewhat like Apple's eyesight thing, so that your eyes can show up on the front of the device. I don't think I've shown anyone that feature without them going, ugh. You know?
It's just when you're in it, you're in it. Like, do people need to see you on the other side to know that they can see you? Like, or like just put like 2 dots on it, like that LED dots, you know?
And like on the plane, if they like, because I've had it, I've been in the aisle seat with the Apple Vision on, and they come down the aisle. It is a little awkward at times to like have a full headset on, and then all of a sudden there's a person there and you like need to respond. But I just take it off. I'm not gonna like try to like, even though technically they're gonna pop through in the eyesight thing, it just feels weird to look at the person. Maybe in the future people will be used to this and will like that, but I'm surprised to see Meta patenting this.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like you have the like headset that's cheap and does all the things already. Like why try to compete in that way?
Yeah.
It just seems odd. And if it is health sensors or whatever, that seems odd too. Like they've never been known to do anything like that with products yet. And you know, what do you need to know, your blood pressure or something? Like that's what the rings and the watch are for at this point. But anyways, we're also seeing maybe a crypto platform come to Apple Vision Pro.
I'm very curious as to what this enables, but apparently they said it's an unprecedented trading experience.
Oh, okay, great. So
which is exactly what I want.
mean, you could have like a Safari browser open in however many configurations you want to see whatever stock trading. Or if you're really into that, if you want to trade crypto on the plane every day, you know, do your day trading or whatever. But like, this isn't exciting to me. Maybe I'm not a crypto guy or whatever, but like,
maybe someone comment below if you're an Apple Vision user and HTX enabling a crypto exchange is exciting to you. Let us know, because I don't picture why that's exciting, but they're developing it.
The other big thing we have to talk about is if Apple AI is coming to the Apple Vision Pro or not. There's been no mention of it yet. We know we're going to get an update to the iOS. But other than that, I don't think we're going to get Apple Vision AI, or there's just been no announcement yet. So do we think that the hardware is capable of handling the AI software?
I think so, because it has a M2, I believe, in the Apple Vision. I think that was intentional. I think that it's future-proofed for stuff, and they were working on, maybe they didn't know it was going to be this central to their future plans, but I think it has the computing power that should enable Apple Intelligence. And I think it would be pretty crazy if it couldn't do that, especially at the price point and it being their flagship.
It just
newest,
becomes obsolete.
Yeah, exactly. That would be crazy. And the Air comes out, and then the Air can do it, but the Pro can't. Like that would be insane. So I think it's going to be able to do it. And there's rumors that they are working on it in like its earliest form.
I think it would make it 10 times more usable. I think the problem with the product right now is that it's just hard to navigate. Hard isn't the right word. Slow to navigate. When you're trying to get from A to B, even if you're using voice commands, like the voice commands if the voice commands improve because of AI, that's like a huge thing. If you could get it to do something with the voice command, like message this person X, Y, and Z, you know, let them know that I'm going to be late or something like that. And then tell them the directions to this restaurant. Sort of like the things they're demoing.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful to have with a voice command and being able to do it all in one breath or whatever. And then having it do it accurately.
And natural language and everything that's going to come with the updated versions of Apple Intelligence and Siri and stuff.
And then even things like, being able to summarize an email or something like that. Like scrolling through things isn't, you kind of want to do things quickly and lightly with the Apple Vision. So if I'm watching a movie, if I'm doing one of those experiences and a message comes through, you almost want to be like, craft a response back or whatever. I don't want to dictate a whole, you know.
And they could do it in a lot more creative way, because when you're on a screen or you're on the phone in the Apple Vision, not the Apple Vision, if you're on your iPhone and you're doing Apple Intelligence, you know, you enable it to do something. You click for it to summarize this thing, because then it has to jump down and do it and cover up what you're looking at. The Apple Vision, you can have your window and it could do it automatically on the side for you. Like
so
all
there's
these
more real
different
estate
things.
going on that it could be usable.
Yeah, and it could just be doing things that you're not even going to pay attention to unless you need it and unless you want it. You could probably just have it running, doing a lot of different things at any given time. I think the real estate is a big aspect, that it can just be throwing you the AI responses on your in your peripherals.
Yeah, so it's not taking up any more of space like in your window or in your entertainment environment or whatever, you know? Yeah, that could be really cool. I just love to see that because it just makes it more usable. Anything that makes the Vision Pro more useful is a good thing, because right now it's just middle of the road, like not a good tool for anything that's not entertainment.
Yeah.
It's not that it can't do it. It's just not as fast as going straight to the laptop and hitting a keyboard or whatever.
Yeah. Have you tried the beta of Apple Vision 2.0 or whatever?
I have not yet.
Vision OS 2.0. I'm on the beta, and overall it's good. There's a new thing where, like, to bring up the control center, you like look at your palm and then flip over and you tap. It's a little clunky for me. I'm still trying to figure that out and dial that in and everything, but I'm on the latest version of the beta, and overall it's stable. And one of the cool things that I think is somewhat enabled by AI is you can convert your photos to spatial. And
interesting.
It's photos that were not taken in spatial, and overall it does a really good job. One thing that's funny though is I was on the plane and I couldn't do it because I wasn't on Wi-Fi, and I'm like, what process is it doing where it needs the internet? That's a little odd to me. But
do they specifically tell you that they're sending the picture out to get processed?
It doesn't say anything. It's just literally a button in Photos now that you click to convert it to spatial.
Is that a big security issue? Because everyone, is all uppity about the security of things going out and returning. How many things is that happening with already?
Yeah. So that's already technically somewhat of an AI feature that the Apple Vision's doing, but it also doesn't seem like it's doing it on device. It's at least it's requiring internet, at least when I was trying it. So, but that's a cool feature that's coming to everyone with Vision OS 2 once they announce that. And I'm excited to see that. And then basically the bigger reason why you'd want to shoot something in spatial is just it's more legitimate. It's not a AI recreation, and then you can't convert videos, of course. So you still want to take videos in spatial on your iPhone with spatial, or I guess with the Vision. Which I still think is kind of crazy.
In other news, we have the Meta Quest 4 finally getting a soft launch date of 2026.
Yeah. So this would be the updated version of the Meta Quest 3, which is their affordable headset, basically. What is it? Is it 400 or 500 for the Meta Quest 3?
500.
500?
Yeah.
So technically not affordable, but it's, what is that, 7 times cheaper than the Apple Vision Pro?
Yeah,
so this is the headset people are getting, and it delivers a ton of stuff. It's a really great headset, really great overall software ecosystem, tons of games on there, tons of stuff. So I'd be curious to see what the 4 brings. I would assume like some things like improved pass-through. I could see just better processing, maybe better quality displays in certain ways.
I would love just for them to have a pro version with 4K displays. I don't know that they can make that happen.
Yeah.
It could be made out of like tissues and paper clips if it has 4K displays.
Yeah.
That would really change everything for everyone on this.
Well, that's kind of the separate rumors that the Apple Vision competitor that they're planning to make is coming in 2027. So I think the Quest 4 would still be at the affordable price point, but then they're going to make a competitor to the Vision in 2027, which kind of goes off of my point that like I think these companies are seeing this future that Apple is building with these immersive experiences and stuff, and they're like, wow, this stuff is really good. It's just obviously overpriced right now, but if we probably need to get into this market.
Yeah, the gaming is really good too, and there's a lot of motion going on in the gaming. So like I feel like people can take it, but not everyone's a gamer and wants the experience sort of laid out for them. Like even if you had like a playthrough of a game or something like that, like where you can watch other people, where's the Twitch for VR? It probably already exists. Comment what the Twitch for VR is in there. If I could think about it, it's there. But that might be its own fun thing. Like instead of watching someone play a game, you can literally watch their playthrough of a game and go through the danger of the experience or things like that,
Yeah.
That could be really cool. But really, like, not all people are gamers. Not all people want to do the experience themselves. Sometimes you just want to like relax and let the experience take you somewhere.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think all this like next gen immersive entertainment is really the future. And we're going to be shouting it at the top of our lungs that this stuff is cool, that like I cannot wait for that World War II thing we were talking about. I will, if that's cool, I'm like, this is next. This is the future. Like, this is why we got the Apple Vision.
Yeah.
Find yours for, $17 on eBay now that everyone sold it, and get it, because this is the actual use case that we could say is better than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.